yeah, there's nobody like her. We keep losing legends. This week we lost Diane Keaton. What is happening? Somebody who is so original and you think she's just so enduring. She's going to be there forever, you know, just a constant screen presence for many decades here. But sadly, she died this week at 79. We would like to talk about her career a little bit. And if you are a member of our Patreon, she'll be the subject of our November off the menu poll, where you'll get to pick which movie of hers we review. So details about that are below to come and join us. But Alonso, tell me about your thoughts on Diane Keaton.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think she is one of those performers that is, you know, indelibly a part of the new Hollywood of the 70s. You know, she was in the you know, all the Godfather movies. She was in, you know, like the peak Woody Allen, I think is, you know, the period where the two of them were either romantically or at least professionally involved. You know, she directed a documentary that I still need to see called Heaven, and I want to say a feature as well, right?
She did a movie called Hanging Up.
Oh, right. Yes. But I think there was
a called Hanging Up.
Yes, which was written by Nora Ephron. And I think she also directed, there was a feature, or no, it was another one. Okay, never mind. I'm thinking of something else. Anyway, but as a performer, I think incredibly eclectic and multi-talented, like obviously a comedic genius. You look at her work in films like Annie Hall, where she won her Oscar, or Love and Death early on, you know, and then juxtapose that with something like, you know, Looking for Mr. Goodbar, or Reds, which was, I think, maybe my favorite of her performances, or Shoot the Moon, you know, the divorce drama for Alan Parker. You know, she had a vulnerability, but also a strength. She had a quirkiness, but also a groundedness. And, you know, I think that she really defied a lot of standards about aging in Hollywood. Like, she became a sort of, you know, she was a style icon. Nobody dressed like Diane Keaton, you know, and, you know, she carved out this corner of the culture for herself in the way that she looked. And it was always a way that was like vibrant and sexual and present. You know, up until like very recently, she was still like out there making movies where she, you know, she gets to marry Andy Garcia at the end of Book Club 2, for God's sake. Like, she was not a shrinking violet in any way. Her memoir is really terrific. I recommend that for folks. You know, she talks about, she dealt with eating disorders in the 70s. She got her big break on Broadway in Hair as the one person in the cast who didn't take off their clothes. Yeah, I just, you know, I think she's extraordinary. And, you know, I think that she is as much a part of like that 70s moment as somebody like, you know, Jane Fonda or Jill Clayburgh or Jack Nicholson, you know, whom she later starred with in Something's Gotta Give. But yeah, I just think she was a movie star.
Yeah. And the word authenticity gets tossed around so much, you know, as far as people feeling like they really see the true you, you know, it's true in social media. It's true just in celebrity in general. Like, when someone's authentic, you feel like you're really connecting with them. And I feel like she truly was that person, you know, the quirkiness and the vulnerability, but also the quick wit. And it all seemed like a part of her, and all her flaws and all her beauty and all her wit and her wisdom. And yeah, there's nobody like her, you know, and the style, of course. And, you know, when women have stylists now for every red carpet, every award show, Q&As come award season, she dressed herself, you know, with the gloves and the hats and the button-down shirts and the vest and the trousers, and like didn't care what anyone, didn't care what anyone thought. Like, that was her, and she was comfortable, and that's so rare.
I know there's an entire generation of viewers who are mad that I have not mentioned The First Wives Club or Father of the Bride or Baby Boom. Like, the thing is, I think there are generations of fandoms that she had because she kept working, because she kept starring in these films that were iconic in different ways, you know. So yeah, I think of her more about her like 70s and early 80s stuff, but certainly as time went on, she found other ways to really, you know, make an impact in film, and she's terrific in all of those movies as well. You know, on the Christmas front, she was the matriarch in The Family Stone and in Love the Coopers. So yeah, I think, you know, she could do it all, and she sang too.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's the heart of something that is so iconic and so sprawling, like The Godfather. You know,
Yeah.
she is like the kind-hearted center of a lot of that.
Yeah, and
You know,
an
the actual,
audience conduit in a lot of ways,
right.
because you know she's getting exposition that we need about what's going on here.
Yeah, and she feels like the most relatable human being in that world. You know, we
Yeah.
can't relate to these, like, you know, power hungry mobsters. We can relate to somebody who is sort of in awe of the glamour of it all. So
Yeah, or in love
that
with
was
one and
effective.
doesn't know how to like save him from falling into it, you know.
Yeah, but then she would take, you know, the wit and the sharp delivery to something kind of fluffy like Father of the Bride, and give it a little more oomph.
Sure.
You know, besides just being like sweet and kind of gentle, like she brought a jolt to it.
And keep an eye out, because I have a hunch that we're going to start seeing a leak of the hilarious pilot that she did for HBO called Tilda, that Bill Condon directed, where she played a sort of Nikki Fink style like gossip columnist. I got to see it years ago when it was originally produced. It was brilliantly funny. HBO didn't pick it up because they're idiots. And that pilot has always been sort of like legendary, but rarely seen. But I have a hunch that it's gonna just start emerging places. So be on the lookout.
So interesting. Okay, well, cool. Well, if you'd like to join our Patreon and help us decide which movie we're going to review of hers, it's going to be tough. Like Robert Redford.
Yeah,
Like,
so
I don't know
many
how
choices.
you pick. I don't know how you pick. You know, with Redford, we did just 70s movies. Maybe we do like one from each decade. You know,
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah.
So many to choose from, you know, and so eclectic and such a diverse filmography, but singular.
Yeah.
Like, you knew, like, when a Diane Keaton performance was coming, like, you knew you'd get something good. So, all right. So hang out with us there, patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. That'll be in November. Let us know what your favorite Diane Keaton performance or movie is down in the comments. And people need to stop dying. You know, I love talking with you about the greatness of someone's career when they are a legend like this, but it's a huge bummer.
I wish it were under better circumstances. Yeah.
Totally.